Hello, this is Jonathan Benz speaking to you for a few minutes today from Live a Legacy. I'm going to talk to you today from chapter 10 on developing influence. I'm going to read a couple of portions about how we develop influence. Before I get to that, I want to say that a colleague said to me just today, she said, I want you to know, she goes, I pick up your book every once in a while and I read just a few pages at a time, like a chapter. And I said, that's exactly the way you should read it. It was written in that format to pick up, read a few pages, think about it, put it down and walk away. So don't feel, if you've purchased the book, don't feel like you have to read it cover to cover in one sitting or in a week or so or whatever. Just read it one chapter at a time and read it topically. Sometimes I tell people, just go through the table of contents, and if something jumps out at you, read that chapter, and then, because it's only 2 or 3 pages long, maybe read it every day for a week and use it as a personal meditation or devotional guide. I want to talk to you about developing influence, and in the last YouTube upload I talked to you about understanding influence. I want to talk about developing influence, and I think that one can develop it. I know I talked in the last clip how some people seem to be born with it, like a favor, an attraction, where people are just drawn to them. But in this chapter I give a few comments on how you can develop it. And one of the things that I say here that I think is good, not just because I said it, but because I think it works and I think it's right, is understand that healthy rapport fosters authority in your sphere of influence. And I talk about just being nice to people and genuinely liking them. And sometimes it's hard to like people we work with or the people in our families or wherever it is. And finding something that you can like about them. And one key thing that helps is find one thing that they do really well, or one quality that you really do like about them. And you might say, well, you don't know who I'm living with or working with or whatever. Well, there's got to be one thing that's redeemable about them. At least one. There's probably more if we can maybe look through the things that bother us about people and just find the one thing and really highlight that and focus on that and try to find the goodness that is within that person, because I go back to that old scripture that says, God created the human being and called the human being good. And sometimes we forget that people are good because they're alive. So find that good thing within them and focus on that. And then if that person feels that you really do genuinely like them, chances are they're going to like you back. Unless if there's some miserable curmudgeon, who knows. But I do think it is possible to develop healthy rapport with healthy boundaries as well. Most people, I say here, do not realize how much influence they have. I think a lot of people go through life living far below their potential. And so think about the influence that you have. Think about that probably you have not maximized your full potential yet. And I would suggest to you that if you're alive, that is your sign from the universe that you have not maxed out your potential. Because we always have room to grow, develop, and to expand who we are in terms of our spirit and who we are in our spirit. So really raise your bar of expectation. And I found several years ago this quote from John Hancock, who has the wonderful signature on the Declaration of Independence. And he said, the greatest ability in business is to get along with others and influence their actions. A chip on the shoulder is too heavy a piece of baggage to carry through life. And I love that. A chip on the shoulder is too heavy a piece of baggage to carry through life. And not only does the chip on the shoulder weigh the person down who carries it, who wants to be around somebody who's carrying woundedness and offense? Let it go and learn to get along with others, like them, and then when out of that healthy relationship will come that added influence. And one thing I'll finish here is that I said treat people with honor and respect even if they do not reciprocate it, even if they don't deserve it. And I might add, treat them with honor and respect especially when they don't deserve it. There's something about that old adage of kill them with kindness. It works. And these principles and these adages, it's a cliche because we've said it over and over. It's a cliche because it's true, and it's worked with too many people for it not to be true. So try to remember honor and esteeming others in your life. I always go back, I think that I had to learn to honor and esteem myself before I can truly honor and esteem another person. So in your ventures today, in your ventures this week, in your ventures this year, think about how you can push beyond your own insecurities and begin living the life you were made to live. There is purpose, there is meaning, there's a reason you're here, and you can start just by really treating others with honor and respect out of that place where you honor and respect yourself, and expanding your sphere of influence today. Thanks for listening.